Money FM 89.3. Now, when you look around the office, you probably see supplies like copier papers and stationery, or if you are in the industrial sector, you might be more familiar with things like safety shoes or gloves. Well, procuring them can be a chore sometimes, and a company here is trying to make it easy. No annual award better honors the bold ambition of Singapore's young businesses under 10 years old than the Emerging Enterprise Award, jointly organised by the Business Times, the Financial Daily under SPH, as well as OCBC Bank. Now this year, 2022, marks 15 years of the award's celebration of business innovation, resilience and excellence in SMEs, the bedrock of the Singapore economy. Since 2008, the award has been empowering startups and young enterprises with both recognition and resources to take flight and achieve stellar growth. Today, we chat with one of the 15 finalists in contention for this year's award to find out what makes them tick. We have in the studio with us Logan Tan. He is the CEO and co-founder of Eezee. Thanks for joining me, Logan.
Thanks for having me.
Now, before we start, let's get an overview of Eezee. How do you come up with the name?
Right. So for us, we were just brainstorming about our idea initially, and one of my initial founding member was just taking a bus and using EasyLink as a card, right? And as Singaporean, EasyLink kind of identify us as like what we do on day-to-day transport, and we just felt like the name Eezee resonate with us, and we did a few permutation. So that's like our story behind. Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to make it easier for those in the B2B space to buy stuff. Pretty much it's a long list of items. How many items are we looking at? I'm looking at a website. It's a huge marketplace.
Yeah, we have about 250,000 products, mainly in industrial products, things that like a company will buy on a day-to-day basis. Yeah,
boxes.
Yes, correct. Like anything under the sun that a company will need, like ranging from like pantry food to your office supplies to like ink cartridges to your ball bearing, even like that you use in a engineering facility. Yeah.
Where did the idea come about from?
Right. In my former life, I was actually the head of procurement in a construction company, and I was heading a team of about 6 people. And that was when I discovered that my team, they're just being bogged down by too many all these like loose purchases. We call them in procurement tail end.
What do you mean by bogged down?
Bogged down, like basically they have to source for 3 quotations. I'm not sure whether you guys have been through that before, but you have to source from like multiple different quotations from different sources, and from there you have to liaise with the suppliers, typically offline through phone calls, emails, or sometimes even faxes, right? Because all these suppliers, they are traditional. They are not online, and that's where the hassle come in, right? You have to get the price and the stock, or of course the right products onto into your own procurement system. And that's where it gets a bit more down to whenever you have to handle this kind of thing, it typically takes about 2 weeks end to end from the start of sourcing to you issuing a purchase order. It's not as simple as in a consumer life where you can just take out a phone, order with a few clicks or process. But in the B2B world, it's actually very far from that. And that's, I thought things have to change. And things like that haven't been changing for the past 30 years. No one is solving it, and I saw a market gap, and that's where I decided to spend the rest of my life building this platform.
Yeah, let's talk about that market gap. How have things changed? Do people still need to get 3 quotes, or do you just go straight to your website, click, and just list you as whitelist you as a vendor?
Yep. So I think in the market, we are barely scratching the surface. About 99% of the whole economy is still pen and paper, and they go out and ask for 3 quotation. Minority, more forward-looking companies, especially the larger companies, they are actually using us as a platform to just compare, and with a few clicks of a button, they can actually complete the purchase within minutes rather than the weeks that they used to take. So the bigger the company is, the bigger the pain point is for them.
Right.
Yep.
So if you go to your website, you can probably find, like, let's say, a brand of paper by multiple vendors?
Yep, correct. It can be a single brand by multiple different vendors, or it can be multiple different brands. Could be that as well.
Okay, so you talk about comparing prices, right? And it comes from various vendors. How do you get all these vendors on board your platform?
Yep. Usually there are two ways. One is they organically find out about us because we are in a very niche segment. So if you go out there, I think in Singapore, we have built ourselves a pretty good reputation being in this segment. So most of them would have known us by now, I hope, for good reasons. So the second part is majority of our clients will actually refer their suppliers to come on board through our portal because it's very tedious and expensive for them to, go and create their own e-commerce. They don't know how to as well. All these are legacy businesses that they know how to do buy and sell of products, but they don't know digitalization. That's where we can come in and help them, right? Create a centralized platform, easy for them to use, and for them to just list products without any upfront costs.
Right. Eezee is spelled EEZEE, and it's launched in 2018. So it's what you call the first and biggest one-stop marketplace for industrial goods and supplies.
Yep.
How different is it from what's out there? I'm sure there's been some competition since then.
Yeah, I think in Singapore and the neighboring region, there isn't that much competition or some competition that we don't know about. But in more mature markets like India, China, or even in US, everyone knows Amazon, right? But the lesser known counterpart of Amazon is called Amazon Business. It's doing exactly what we do, but not in the industrial segment. But in India and China, yes, we do have competition. As of now, I would say the closest ones that we have are similar to those consumer platforms like Shopee, Lazada. But if you go there, it's very different experience, right? Like as a consumer, you will probably want to shop there. But as a business user, you want to buy a specific ball bearing for your industry. You won't use Lazada or Shopee because you go there, you'll be, like bombarded with all these different categories that are not related to you, whether be it like, baby clothing. You won't want to see baby clothing when you're buying ball bearing. Yeah.
You mentioned some of these familiar names, Shopee, Lazada. So does it work in the same way in terms of business model where for a shopper, it's free to use, but for a vendor, you have to pay a price to be listed?
Yes, correct. It works exactly the same way. So as a marketplace, we take a cut of every single transaction. So the business model is the same. And but beyond that, like the operational model is very different.
Okay, and let's dive a bit deeper into how this platform can be integrated into a company's processes.
Yep.
How could they use it and use it for their, for example, data mining purposes or to integrate their business transactions into their internal records?
Yep. So if you walk through a typical, before using Eezee, right, the kind of like process that you go through, usually every company, they will have their own internal ERP system, usually by SAP or Oracle. When they want to purchase something, they usually go out there, ask for what we call a quotation. From there, they will key in all these details into the system. So how we have done it, because we have been through procurement before, is a process, internal process. We have integrated ourselves with the likes of SAP and Oracle and many other platforms out there. Through that, we actually enable seamless data transfer. So there's no manual entry of like data work that they have to do. So first, it saves time. Secondly, there's no setup involved. You don't have to manually set up like who's within the company who has left and whatnot. So that's enablement of that. Third is that you get access to the platform, to the internal system, and all the information listed there. So meaning that we know who come from what department and what they're buying, right? So what it means for the procurement department is also they get to see analytics of what their people are buying and when they buy, so they can spot trends and even predict supply chain, especially in this kind of situation, right?
Yeah, that sounds like you are really making it easy.
Yeah.
We are in conversation with Logan Tan. He is the CEO and co-founder of Eezee, one of the 15 finalists in the running for the OCBC Emerging Enterprise Award. And Logan, you've just gone through the judging process of the award. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I think like the whole experience was, in fact, the first kind of experience that we have in a formal judging process. So first, we were, although I've been through it multiple times, we are venture-backed, pitched multiple times, but I think it's a very unique experience to be standing in front of like 12 very distinguished guests and judges, and even more than that, right? So first is a refreshing experience for us and even a constant learning journey on the types of questions that they will ask. As well as what they exactly look out for, and just a whole new different experience standing in front of them.
Yeah, let's talk about the type of questions. What were they interested in?
Yeah, there are two main angles that they are interested in. One is more towards our path to profitability, and as a growing enterprise, in a startup space, profitability has always been a constant topic ever since COVID has begun, right? And always been on our mind. So first is that topic that we have already prepared for. So as any business, you can't just be burning money and raising capital like forever. You need to have an end sight to that. And what does it mean? It doesn't just end off with like an IPO or whatnot. As a business, you need to be churning profits, and that is in terms of the value you create for the society. Can be anything, right? Because of the value you create, people are willing to pay you extra for that. That's your profit. So we have always thought about that as our business model. Whether we choose to go towards that is just a matter of timing and the time period. So that has always been one topic that the judges are very interested about. The other component is sustainable approach, right? How we as an organization, even as a startup, right, we need to have a start point to thinking about our sustainable approach. So example, right, for us, we don't have any physical name cards. So we use e-cards. That's just one of our smaller ways that we do it. And how then we create value through sustainable approach to our clients, because we want for it to be exponential, especially in procurement. Procurement is all about what they are buying and how can we help to advocate sustainable products to our clients, especially in those industrial giants, oil and gas, and aerospace, where there are huge carbon emission giants, right? So, yeah, that's the two topics.
No, it does sound like it's a very interesting session, and I'm sure you learned a lot as well. And if you do win the OCBC Emerging Enterprise Award, what will it mean for you and the company?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think like the company and our employees have been really working very hard throughout the past 4 years. And the past 2 years in COVID, since we just opened up, has been relatively difficult. Like everyone has to work from home. You don't get to see one another. I think it's just a recognition of the stage that we have arrived at. It's a milestone and benchmark that, like whatever hard work they have put in through for the past couple of years, at least someone recognize it, right? I think recognition is very important to tell someone, hey, you've done a good job. And I think this is a prestigious award that allows people to feel that they have done something right. Right, so that's what it means for us as an organization.
All the best for the future, Logan.
Yeah.
We've been chatting with Logan Tan. He is the CEO and co-founder of Eezee, one of the 15 finalists in the running for the OCBC Emerging Enterprise Award. Thanks for joining me, Logan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Money FM 89.3